with us today. It's going to share with us some really fun stuff. We're actually residing, Cherry Creek resides in one of Jim Backer's buildings, and he has taken incredible care of us. We love being part of what he does, and we wanted Jim to finally join us, so thank you for joining us, Jim.
My pleasure.
It's only taken us about a year to get you in here.
Been too busy.
Yeah, you have been busy. You have been busy. Yes, he does. We do keep him busy at our office, though.
We do. We do. I think we have a shelf for coming.
Don and I have big plans for that show.
That's pretty funny. Well, as I mentioned, Jim Backer has decided to join us here and talk about what's really fun is Jim has been part of New Holland Farm, which originally basically planned our planned community. They put this together a bazillion years ago. I mean, Jim's been out here since 1984 with his family, Suzanne, and 3 kids, 13, and 11, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You got twins, right?
Yep.
Okay. And heavily involved in all the athletics out here, the community. And as you know, our theme, every guest we have has to be somehow involved in your community. They have to give back. And Jim gives back in many ways. Jim, you started a few foundations even.
Well, I was the founding president of the SCB Education Foundation, and we started originally out of the Chamber of Commerce as the Education Committee, and actually tonight at the COC Performing Arts Center we have our 29th annual Teacher Tribute event, which honors one outstanding teacher from each of the 55 public schools in the community. And we've been doing that for a long time to really focus on the excellence that we see in public school education. And it's a little bit like the Academy Awards, our group likes to say.
Do they get swag?
They get swag bags. We don't really give them the Harry Winston jewels, unfortunately, but we give them some nice things that they can use in the community. And of course a nice gift, and they get some certificates and all, and we do a video that's produced by Valencia High School that features each of the honored teachers and has some of them interviewed and some of their kids interviewed, and with music, and it's really a neat deal. And we have a program that really talks about all their backgrounds, and so that's one of the biggest events that we do. We also do Principal for a Day, and we have a Read With Me program. We do student enrichment grants. We've been doing scholarships to graduating high school students who are going into teaching, who want to become teachers, and we've focused that for the last 5 or 6 years on giving grants to them so that they can continue their education and maybe come back and be an honoree someday as a public school teacher.
Very nice. What a great way to give back, what a great way to say thank you, and what a great way to be involved, Jim, and in your spare time.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch you running around and all these projects you're going on. And Gino and I get to see this. He flies in our office. All right, what do we need? What do you need me to do? Okay, done. And he leaves,
there he goes.
Sure enough, somebody flies in and takes care of it. So we thank you for that, Jim.
As my wife says, I can't do anything, but I have people that can. So
it's important to have people. I know Cherry Creek Mortgage, we're surrounded by a great team, and you have a great team that is, as I mentioned, changing the face of Valencia. But you start way back. You kind of start with the original days of New Holland Farm when this was a bunch of dirt fields out here.
Well, I started at New Holland in 1984 to graduating from college with a history degree, so I needed to learn the business of real estate, and had some great teachers at New Holland like Don Puente and Tom Lee and Jim Dickinson, Tom Dirkman, Gary Cusimano, all these folks that I worked with, and
big names out in this community.
Yeah, and people have been involved, and so I had a chance to learn the business. And Valencia was started in the early '60s. The Newhall family had decided to really develop a community in honor of their founder, who was a man named Henry Mann Newhall, who had been an incredible entrepreneur who came here during the gold rush days originally in the mid-1800s, and didn't make a dime off the gold rush, but actually was a very successful auctioneer, and then along with some friends had this little investment that owned the railroad line from San Francisco to San Jose. And when he sold that in 1875, and his share was worth $1 million in cash with no income taxes.
Wow. Big money
back then.
He
That's
had
a
a little bit of coin. And
it's funny
so
if we say back then, I'll take $1 million right now.
No taxes, though. Remember that part.
Wow.
That's the key part. And he ended up buying land throughout California. And the Newhall Ranch was one of them, which was called Rancho San Francisco. And another one was, there were several of them in Monterey County, about 20,000 acres. And fast forward into the 1920s, and his 5 sons sold that to William Randolph Hearst, because that's the property that surrounds San Simeon. So
beautiful
it's
property.
not where San Simeon is, but the property around it. But when Newhall decided in the early 60s, they did get going residential. They started an industrial park. They really looked at it as a full self-sufficient community. And so when I got here in 1984, we had about 3.5 million feet of industrial space, which is in the Valencia Industrial Center, the original, and which is now about 10 to 11 million square feet, by the way.
Wow.
And the Commerce Center hadn't happened, and so I had a chance to really work under my bosses to help develop the rest of the industrial center. And so we were selling and building about 1 million square feet a year in the mid to late 80s, and then stopped. And then we started the Commerce Center.
So you've seen this before?
Oh, yeah. And then we started the Commerce Center, and I ended up spending 2 hours on the phone one day with a broker who needed 40 to 60 acres, wouldn't tell me who it was, had to have it, blah, blah, blah. And so we found out that, we were probably about the only game in town, and we could deliver the 65 acres they needed in the Commerce Center. And that's how we started the Commerce Center. We sold to the U.S. Postal Service.
Oh,
65 acres.
the main branch there, right.
That allowed us to really get that thing kicked off, and that was kind of my project. And so I was involved in the overall planning and the civil work and the grading and the roads. And one little tidbit that might be fun is almost all the roads, not quite, but the roads there are named for the signers of the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
That's where Hancock and Franklin and Harrison.
So your history it comes back.
It all comes back. So revenge of the history major. Once in a while, we get back.
Yeah, if you go to JSB Development, you'll see pictures everywhere of Abraham Lincoln. Honest Abe is Jim's. He's a big fan of, obviously.
You bet. You bet.
Did you always wonder that? Who gets to name the streets? Now we know.
We used to have all kinds of contests at Newhall. One time somebody said, put in all your mother's maiden names, and and then where did your family grow up, and because everybody's done the names of trees and the names of towns and the names of universities and all that. So
I was on Harrison Parkway.
Yeah, we were on Harrison
There you
Parkway.
go. Yeah, that's what it was. And so it is kind of fun though. It is fun to name streets.
Well, and you could tell the scope of the size of the developments. I don't know what the size of that whole development is, but it's quite large. It's not,
1,500 acres. It's,
I know exactly.
It's 700 kind of net developable, but about 1,500 overall.
Yeah, it's a big area. So and we were fine over there. It was a great little area, actually.
Yeah. Now we're right there next to the chamber, right, with Jimbo there. Well, give you some idea. We're going to talk about Jim's got a great project they're working on, a big project they've been working on for years and years and years, and you're going to be amazed. Nobody even I didn't know about this, and I'm pretty connected. Gino's pretty connected, but it's pretty exciting what you're working on. We're going to touch on that next segment, but just give you some idea. Some of the projects they've been involved with, River Court and Center Point. These are pretty big projects. They aren't just like we built one building. These are huge projects, and I know this next project's going to involve like 1,100 residential units, and how many square foot of?
Just under 1 million.
Okay, so we're teasing you a little bit because you're going to be shocked at where this location is and what it's going to be. But let's just give you some idea of what it started out like before, back in the day when we didn't have malls. We didn't have a town center, and there's an area of Santa Clarita that doesn't either. So we're kind of
they will.
Yeah, so we're teasing it up a little bit. But Jim's been involved in so many big projects, and Jim, you don't mind sharing your newest project?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. What's the name of your newest project?
Vista Canyon.
Vista Canyon. All right. And where's this little project going?
Well, Vista Canyon is on a vacant piece of land that is just west of Sulphur Springs Elementary School, just below Fair Oaks Ranch, and it's bordered on the west by Jake's Way, on the north by the Santa Clara River and Highway 14. So it kind of fits between Sand Canyon and Via Princesa as you're driving on the 14.
All right. Thanks for letting him. giving you a little tidbit out there of what's coming to play. So when we come back, we're going to the details about Vista Canyon and what that all involves and how that's going to change a lot of lives here in Santa Clarita. It's going to be some fun information when we come back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show on your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS. Don't turn that dial.